Hello, and thank you for coming to our webinar. I'm Beth Peterson, and my co-host is Jacqueline Falk. We are both graphic artists for communications and marketing, and today we will be covering the NSU graphic standards. As I was thinking about the graphic standards and what they mean to me as a designer, I have a quick illustration that I would like to show you. So here we have an illustration of some people seeing different things. Some of it kind of makes sense. You can see that that is an eye in that person's little bubble, and that person is seeing a paw, but each is looking at different imagery than their neighbor. Here everyone is looking at just one big picture, and now you can tell that previously they were each looking at different clips of the same picture. And this is my little dog Leona. I was excited to get to sneak her into my presentation. But I thought that's one of the things that is important to me with everyone understanding the contents of this book. It is a hefty amount of material, but as NSU employees collaborate on projects, when all parties involved have a full grasp of these guidelines and processes, then we are all seeing the same big picture and how the pieces fit together to make sense. And that is the first step for streamlined communication among ourselves and a consistent visual identity across all materials we produce at NSU. Okay, diving into the graphic standards. The book covers many different avenues of branding usage. We will go through its entirety today, but I encourage you to download the web-accessible PDF posted on the Communications and Marketing webpage and keep on file for your reference. I'm going to show you real quick how to find and download the NSU graphic standards. So you can find the page. Up here you can see nsuok.edu/communications and marketing. And I'm going to scroll through here, and I'm going to find the standards and guides. Scroll here, and we have graphic standards. Graphic standards PDF is the one we're looking for. And I would like to open it up in Acrobat, so I'm going to go over here, click download. Okay, so here's the web accessible PDF for the NSU graphic standards. It's got some built-in navigation. Over here, you've got some bookmarks you can use. You can jump through the book using the bookmarks. You can jump to the last page here. Go back to contents. In the contents section, you've got clickable links. You can click on that and jump through that way. I'm going to close out the bookmark so we can see the screen bigger right now, and we will start through the book. So we'll start with page 3. The first section here is an introduction to the CNM staff, and then it starts an overview of the CM project completion process. The first bubble here represents your submission if you submit a request, and then it will walk you through the different steps all the way to an end product. Page 4, the next page, it details out more of the process for each of the steps. I'm not going to get in too far here because there's an upcoming webinar that will cover this more thoroughly. We're planning that webinar for December 4th, I think, and look for an EVAT to register that will be coming soon. Page 5, here we have the protocol for content submission. It details out more of the format for which CNM needs content given to us to begin a design request. And again, the next webinar in queue will dive further into this section as well. Here we have links to CNM Services. Depending on what needs you have, you can follow one of these links to the corresponding page with the request form. So say you wanted to make a photography request, you could click here, and here's the photography request form. You could fill out the needed information here and hit submit. Next page is also just more links to request forms for CNM Services. Here we have the branding overview. So here we've got a blurb about a well-built brand, delivers the message clearly, it's credible, connects emotionally to prospects, motivates buyers, and cements loyalty. The next section talks about what makes up the NSU brand. Anything representing the university should be branded. The 3 seminal components of the university brand are the university's color palette, logos, and font families. The next paragraph defines marketing and advertising. Marketing relies on advertising and vice versa. but there are intrinsic differences to how they build on each other. We have page 9, the more branding overview. This section shows us the different pieces that make up an advertising campaign and how they work together for success. And then below here, you've got contact information to a CNM staff member to discuss your marketing opportunities. Moving on. And here we have a section that shows a thought process of questions to ask yourself as you're gathering content for submitting a design request. Who is your audience? What behavior are you trying to create and or influence? What is the best way to reach your audience? Is there an event associated with your design request? Do you need a press release? Do any of the pieces require mailing? Do any of the pieces need to be posted online or sent through email? Here we have institutional logos. The NSU logo is the university's primary identifying mark. It is uniquely rendered and cannot be redrawn or modified in any way. All of NSU's marks and logos are trademarked and licensed. Merchandise bearing these must be ordered through a licensed vendor. For more detail on that, we also have a video posted on CNM page from a previous workshop that covers the ins and outs of licensing. And I can show you that real quick. Soon we will probably have it posted in our little tabs on the left, but right now, soon I think we'll probably have like a workshops tab here, and all of our workshops will be posted there. But for now, you can get to it by going to, just gonna change that to workshop. Scroll through here and you can see, if you played this video, that would be the licensing workshop from our last workshop. So, next page, more logos. This page has all of the approved configurations of the NSU logo. No other configurations are acceptable to use. Got left aligned, centered, one line, some different colors. Here we are shown the minimum size that is acceptable for the logo to be scaled to. We are also shown the standard for the amount of clear space that must surround the logo to separate it from other elements in the design. We've got the clear space here, all around the edges. And this little blurb talks about the amount. Formal branding of colleges and departments. This page shows us the options we've got with the college name underneath the logo. Here we've got formal branding for buildings. This page shows the guidelines for additional alternative branding. It talks about branding for student organizations. When appropriate and with CNM approval, NSU accent colors can be incorporated, as you see in the color bar below this logo. CNM typically does not produce branded pieces for student organizations. Student design requests should be placed through the Student Affairs Office. All logos must be approved through the CNM department. Here we have institutional colors. We have the branded NSU color swatches. Color plays an important role in keeping all materials consistently recognizable as NSU. You can see the Pantone color codes and the hexadecimal numbers for RGB, and then below are the accent colors here. A note to remember when utilizing NSU's campus accent colors is no less than 2/3 of the visual weight must always belong to NSU green, which is here. More institutional colors, or more about institutional colors. This shows the acceptable color configurations for the NSU logo, and there's a bit that mentions not to place the logo on a complicated background where it will get lost visually. Moving on to institutional fonts. This section is about fonts specifically for print. Typography plays an important role also in branding consistency. NSU's two typefaces are Interstate and Aldine. The Interstate font is provided free through Adobe Creative Cloud, and the Aldine font is also available for free download through various websites. This talks about the institutional fonts for web. We've got a listing of acceptable typefaces for web and other digital devices. The primary web-safe font for NSU website is Verdana. Unlike print fonts, Interstate and Aldine, Verdana is designed for screens and commonly pre-installed on most operating systems. Other primary web fonts are Source Sans Pro and DIN Condensed Regular. Here we've got a page that specs out how the NSU taglines should be used. We have examples here of Gather Here, Go Far, which is used to summarize the brand promise. It should be created with a bold font format and in all caps. Here we have examples of the NSU logo accompanied with a tagline. Notice the distance from the bottom of the logo to the top of the tagline should follow guides for clear space and should never be larger in height than State University. It can be smaller, but it should never be smaller than 8 points in size. This page lists recruitment tagline options, including campus-specific and audience-specific. This page has a bit about licensed vendors. All NSU departments that need to work with outside vendors for branded NSU materials are asked to work with licensed vendors. Working with licensed vendors ensures the university's brand is protected. We have a link to the current vendor list here. And also, as mentioned before, be sure to check out the licensing workshop video posted on the CNM page from our last workshop. That concludes my half of the presentation, and I will now give the floor to my co-host, Jacqueline.
Hello, my name is Jacqueline. Thank you, Beth, for leading us through the first half of the book. Before I begin, I'm going to show some examples of some strong branding. So let me move this here. All right. So for my first example, I'm going to give you a couple seconds to guess. Does anybody know what this logo is? Do you already know? It's McDonald's. And do you know why you know what that logo was? It's because of good branding. McDonald's has been around since the late 40s, as you can see here. And over time, their brand has evolved. But with every evolution of their logo, they've kept their branding consistent, which is why we recognize the iconic M, like on their mascot and on their products. Okay, I've got another example for you. Does anybody know what that is? It's Apple. I bet you knew that immediately. This is Apple's logo, the brand responsible for most of your phones, laptops, or even your work computers. The branding story is the same. Over time, Apple has changed their logo to fit the times, but with every era of the brand, they've kept their products branded to match. As you can see, they've kept it consistent across all mediums. Don't you find it interesting how quickly you can name those brands? That's called good branding. And here at NSU, we strive to preserve our branding so that we too can become easily recognizable, but we need your help in doing so. All right, so I'm going to pick up where Beth left off. I'm going to start off with our spirit marks. The spirit marks are also regarded as the athletic logos, but not limited to, and can be used in correlation with athletic teams and events in addition to university branded merchandise. Our logos are licensed and trademarked. All licensed vendors have access to these logos. To see who's approved, click on the link here. You'll be redirected to our licensed vendors list online, and we have a few special examples which are entirely case-based. For instance, the Fit has utilized our full Riverhawk logo in addition to our Interstate font below, a clean logo that also falls within our branding guidelines. We have two Spirit logo variations available for college, departments, student organizations, and university event usage. We have one version represented with the NSU monogram here, followed by your college or department name. And then we have one with the Riverhawk head here. Color variations are also available. We have a few different spirit marks to choose from, designs compatible for many applications. Should you like to request one of these spirit mark variations, you may reach out to us here at Communications and Marketing through our house email cmprojects@nsuok.edu. We want our logos to be legible, and that's why we have sizing constraints for these spirit marks. The smaller the logo, the less distinguishable the elements within it become. To avoid this, we ask that you be mindful of how small you make these spirit logos. Refer to this page when in doubt. Not only do we want you to be mindful of how small you make these logos, we also ask that you give them enough breathing room or the clear space around the logos. This refers to the spacing around the logo when other elements are scrunched up next to the logos, or if the logos are too close to the edge of the page, the logos tend to be overlooked or even stand the chance of being trimmed off after printed. We ask that you give each of these spirit marks a respectable amount of space so that they're not to be cluttered and viewers can see the logo as they should be. Much like our university standard color palette, we have a color palette for the spirit logos too. Here we've included our colors Pantone if applicable, right here, the CMYK code, the RGB code, and the hexadecimal code. These codes will be utilized by your designer and your printer. All NSU spirit marks are available in a number of different color variations: 3D, full color, green, black, and white. Here we've demonstrated proper usage of the Riverhawk head in white. We ask that white logos be used on top of dark colored backgrounds with approval. All right, banner treatments. That's referring to this element right here. Some of the spirit marks included a banner. All athletic subdivisions may utilize this modified spirit mark. In some cases, we can customize this banner for your department, but this modification must be approved by our department first. Should you be interested in having a spirit mark utilized on a t-shirt, you'll need to consider color. If the shirt matches one of the colors residing within the logo, you'll only need to print 3 colors if utilizing a full color logo. Color usage influences the price and type of logo used, so please keep this in mind. Our vendors have all of the approved university logos. You can easily access our vendors list here. You also have the option of utilizing a single color spirit mark. This is cost effective in that a single color will be printed versus 3 or 4. I'm sure you've seen our new Rowdy mascot utilized around campus. Here are the 6 poses we currently have available. We have arms folded, hand gesture, pointing with a serious look, pointing with a smiling face, his getting rowdy pose, and then this one where he's holding a sign. Rowdy adds a little more excitement to branded materials. If you'd like to utilize him, send CNM a request. Rowdy can also be utilized on promo items through our licensed vendors. Here are a few examples we've chosen to use Rowdy: stickers, pennants, and this water bottle design that you've probably seen in River's Edge or the bookstore. Okay. Do you want a custom Rowdy? We can help. There are a few examples of how we've customized Rowdy. Just look, he's graduated, he plays baseball, and he goes fishing. Rowdy does it all. All right, we're gonna cover stationery now. So each employee receives a standard 250 institutional business cards, courtesy of CNM per physical school year. We have some simple guidelines for these cards to keep consistency. If you'd like to submit a request for business cards, you can follow this link here, or navigate to the stationery page through our navigation panel for the necessary request forms, which I've done here. This is our CNM homepage. You go here to stationery, and then you can choose which request you'd like to make. These business cards aren't considered standard and therefore aren't covered by us. Any cards designed outside of our standard template will have to be covered by the requester. Letterheads and envelopes are also not covered by our department. We have a standard look and feel for those, and we like to remain consistent with these letterhead and envelope designs. Here are a few more examples of the types of stationery materials we can provide. We've got a business reply envelope and a window envelope. And we also have a digital letterhead that will be sent to you as a Word document so you can type within it. Email signatures. We've included a page to show you how to brand your email signature to NSU standards. Stylizing your email signatures gives a more professional look and feel to your email. It also provides all kinds of contact information for your recipient: your name, your position, your department, NSU, your phone number, and your Zoom ID. And then all of these logos down here will also be clickable. Here are a range of logos you can choose from to utilize within your signature. These are our standard ones. And should you want to use your college or department logo, you will need to receive permission from your respective dean. Social media. Yes, your social media pages need to be branded as well. This is to ensure that NSU's presence is easily recognizable. Your profile image must be uniform across all social media platforms. This page includes details on how we advise you to brand your page's profile pic. This is an example of NSU's official profile image. And here are a few examples of how we've carried over our profile across our many platforms. Consistency is very important. We've included guidelines here to follow when submitting a design request for print, digital, billboards, or whatever other ads you need. Here's some copy structuring for billboards as well. Presentations. We have some PowerPoint templates to choose from. We have a more broad option here that includes many elements to keep your presentation visually interesting. And we also have a more traditional approach with these branded templates for each campus. This page includes a list of rules to follow when making materials for our campus audience. We have a list of questions to ask yourself here while you're designing your materials. Answering these few questions to yourself can help better structure your materials to be most effective for your audiences. These are a couple examples of successful designs. The top is a two-sided design for a concurrent enrollment flyer, and this one is a postcard design. We also have kind of like a work through of how to distinguish hierarchy, and we prefer that our pieces are in AP style, and we've put a link here for easy access. We want our web pages within the website to be consistent as well. Most of our viewers are online, so our presence looks and feels needs to be the same. To view a complete style guide to NSU's website standards, click here. We love swag, but the swag also needs to be branded. A list of guidelines to follow when creating university swag is provided here. A few examples of some branded promo items include this chapstick, this notebook, and this tumbler. NSU is easily identified, and the university color helps to lend to NSU as well. Printing process. Once CNM has approved your design, we'll send you a final file with its specs and a list of our approved print vendors. Copy and printing services should be forwarded to our conveniently located campus print shop, J.D. Young Copy Zone, as this is NSU's preferred vendor. CNM is not responsible for sending files to print or for mistakes found on client-approved files. Our commitment. Here at CNM, we're committed to providing you with full-service communications and marketing, proactive, customer-focused, and high-quality materials. We are committed to your experience. You can find us located in the Journalism Building on the Tahlequah campus and the 3rd floor of the Admin Services Building in BA. For a list of all the services we offer, visit this link here. And please send requests here to our house email, cmprojects@nsuk.edu.